Hello there, Penguins, Penguin Army Monitor, and welcome back to another episode of the Formula Roundup. Today we're going through the Belgian Grand Prix, and I'm going to be entirely honest, this was ages ago. I've just not been able to get around to recording it because I'm busy. So yeah, let's get on with the Formula 1 Roundup of Belgium. So it's actually a sprint race weekend, so qualifying was done twice, because you've got the sprint shootout, and you've actually got qualifying. But we're going to start off with the sprint shootout, and this was big. Hulkenberg 20th, Zhou Guanyu 19th, Magnussen 18th, Bottas 17th, Tsunoda 16th, Alonso 15th, disappointing for Fernando, 14th for Lance, Logan Sargent 13th, Albon 12th, Ricciardo on one of his returns 11th, George Russell 10th, Esteban Ocon 9th, Sergio Perez again struggling 8th, Hamilton 7th, Gasly 6th, Lando 5th, Leclerc 4th, Carlos Sainz Jr. 3rd, Oscar Piastri 2nd, Max Verstappen 1st. What performance by Piastri. And he actually was briefly in the lead, was Oscar, in the actual race. Fernando Alonso and Perez both DNF'd due to various reasons. Tsunoda finished 18th, Hulkenberg 17th, Sargent 16th, Zhou Guanyu 15th, Kevin Magnussen 14th, Bottas 13th, Albon 12th, Lance Stroll 11th, Daniel Ricciardo 10th, Esti Besti 9th, George Russell nicking a point in 8th, Hamilton 7th, Lando 6th, Leclerc 5th, Carlos Sainz 4th, Pierre Gasly 3rd, who had a great performance, Oscar Piastri 2nd, Max Verstappen 1st. But yeah, for a brief couple of laps, Piastri actually was in the lead, which was unbelievable to see. Didn't go so well for him in the actual race. Well, not at all, really. In fact, it didn't even last a lap. But let's go through quali. So in Q1, Hulkenberg, Ricciardo, Sargent, Guanyu, Albon out in Q1. Disappointed to see both Williams out there, and Ricciardo could have done better. We're also rare to see Hulkenberg out qualified by K-Mag at the moment. In Q2, Esti Besti 15th, Bottas 14th, Magnussen 13th, Pierre Gasly 12th, Tsunoda 11th. Yeah, it's about where we expect to see some cars. Lance Stroll made it to Q3 alongside its Aston Martin teammate Fernando Alonso. George Russell 8th, Lando 7th, Oscar 6th again, having a great performance. Carlos Sainz 5th, Lewis Hamilton 4th, Sergio Perez 3rd, Charles Leclerc 2nd, Max Verstappen, shock horror, was in front. So we'll start talking about Piastri and Carlos Sainz. On lap 1, they had a little bump, which basically everyone said was a Carlos Sainz fault or a racing incident. Unfortunately, I actually took Piastri out of the race and Carlos Sainz out 23 laps later. Yeah, it was a bit of a... And also, Hulkenberg started from the grid pit lane. Yeah, but Max Verstappen actually had a 5-place grid penalty because he took a new engine. Didn't really stop him. And by the way, can we just talk about how much better I'll see Perez up in 3rd, who actually took the lead briefly. But yeah, Verstappen had a 5-place grid penalty, but didn't really stop him as he was lapping his teammate 2 seconds faster for Will. He was even arguing with a GP about how fast he could go. Yeah, he was absolutely in control. Yeah, it was pretty boring. He is a once-in-a-generation talent. But yeah, he was up there pretty quickly. Red Bull rivals continuing to blow hot and cold. Ferrari and Mercedes, who were close to Red Bull. But yeah, it weren't great performance from Aston. They have struggled. Yeah, and Alpine obviously also sacked a Alava Alan Permain, who's worked in a variety of roles but was a sporting director 2012. Their Otmar Schnauzfer, they all lost their jobs. And it has not gone down well in the paddock. Anyway, let's talk about the race now. So, obviously, we spoke about Sainz, Piastri and non-finishers. Hulkenberg 18th, Sargent 17th, Ricciardo 16th, Magnussen 15th, Albon 14th, Zhou Guanyu 13th, Bottas 12th, Gasly 11th, Tsunoda 10th, Lance Stroll 9th, Esteban Ocon 8th, Lando Norris 7th, George Russell 6th, Fernando Alonso 5th, so good recovery from him, Lewis Hamilton 4th, it was 8 miles off Charles Leclerc in 3rd, and it was great to see Checo Perez back up in 2nd, and a Red Bull 1-2. So if we go through the standings then, it's all a bit doom and gloom at the bottom, but there's now 21 drivers to go through, of course. Ricciardo 21st, behind Nick De Vries, who's obviously not going to be scoring any more points, in 20th. Logan Sargent 19th. Magnussen on 2 in 18th. Sonoda in 3 in 17th, who was massively overperforming this card. He's always in like 11th, 12th, 13th. Shogun New with 4 in 16th. Bottas 5 in 15th. Hulkenberg 9 in 14th. Albon, who's having a stormer of season, 11 in 13th. 22 for Gasly in 12th. Piastri in the McLaren looks so much better in 34 in 11th. Obviously didn't finish today. Ocon 35 points in 10th. Stroll 9th. He's underperforming. He had a sinky start, didn't he? 47. Lando 69, nice, in 8th. Carlos Sainz 92 in 7th. George Russell 99 in 6th. Charles Leclerc 99 in 5th, so they're tied. Lewis Hamilton 148 in 4th, 1 point behind Alonso in 3rd with 149. Then Checo Perez all the way up in 2nd, 40 points clear, who's recovering with 189 points. And all the way out with 10 wins from 12, 314 points, Max Verstappen. Fun fact, Max was actually leading the constructors on his own. But yeah, so 12 wins from 12, obviously Red Bull are top. But AlphaTauri 10th with 3, Alfa Romeo 9th with 9, Haas 8th with 11th, as do Williams have 11 with 7th, Alpine 6th with 57, McLaren 5th 103, and they're recovering quite nicely. Ferrari 4th 191, Aston Martin 3rd 196, Mercedes 2nd 247, 503 points for Red Bull, and that is your roundup for this week. We'll actually see you in 2 weeks' time for the Dutch Grand Prix. We've had our season shut down, but we've scheduled it wisely. Anyway, thank you so much for watching my show, and I'll see you next time. Until then, toodaloo. See ya.